Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I am live. I am Kev Baker, and this is the Kev Baker Show coming to you live on Truth Frequency Radio, www.tfrlive.com. How are we all doing today on this Boxing Day special here on the Kev Baker Show? And am I glad to be back with all of you? Yes, I had hoped to go live at least on Christmas Eve or maybe at some point yesterday. And yes, I didn't get too drunk. However, I'm going to be very, very honest with all of you. My ISP, my internet service provider, get how lousy this is. Talk about being full of the humbug kind of spirit at Christmas. My bill was due on Christmas Eve. My Google payment, unfortunately, never arrived on time. But me, in my madness, I thought, come on, it's Christmas, right? Surely they'll give me a couple of days grace, a couple of days where I can, to get the money to them. But no. So yes, I woke up on Christmas Eve without any internet access, without any telephone, anything like that. So a big shout out to my very, very reliable ISP, who I won't be giving any free promotion to. Oh, heck no. But hey, let's look on the bright side. And with 1 year going out the window, another year almost upon us, I want us to really concentrate on that positive vibe in 2020, because I really do believe we play a huge part in the reality that we manifest, not just for ourselves, but we, as little intention antennas, can go around almost spreading our positivity. And I think that's a really positive, upbeat way to look at 2020, which I'm sure is going to give us plenty to talk about. And I've got plenty to talk about here today. We're going to have a nice, chilled, relaxed stream. Give me a second. I'm going to reconnect with the network. I heard a little bit of hissing there. There I am. Yes, sorry about that, folks. Yes, so, yeah, we're going to have a nice, chilled, relaxed stream today. Just me and you. Yes, just you listening right now. And Alan over in the TFR chat room. If you want to get to the Truth Frequency chat room, it's completely free. All you do is you go over to tfrlive.com, the home of the Kev Baker Show, /chat room. And then you can have 2 chat rooms, perhaps. Maybe you're on YouTube as well. You can have 2 chat rooms for the price of none. So Alan was saying that Lucky, another host on the network here, and Lucky is somebody who works tirelessly behind the scenes to make sure that everything runs smoothly, along with Chris and Cherie. And Lucky was one of the few shows that went live yesterday on Christmas Day. And I wish I could have been there with Lucky. I wish I could have been live before her. But we will make up for that today. And I want to give a big shout out to Lucky and one of our listeners, Alan. Remember Alan, who called into the show last week? Well, he called into Lucky's show last night. So if you want to hear that, go to Lucky's archive page and you can hear what was described as a phenomenal phone call. So yes, I'll give a quick shout out to everyone over at the TFR chat room right now. It's our Boxing Day special here. We're nice, we're chilled, we're relaxed. And in the second part of the show, I'm going to be opening up the phones for all of you out there, okay? So over in the Wookiee cave right now, yes, that's right, the Wookiee cave. We have the Wookiee cave, you see. I know it's not just Freaky Friday that has the Wookiee cave. No. We lease it here on the Kev Baker Show. So yeah, we've got Alan in there. We've got King Sweet, my brother. We've got Bam, Bill, and Polly Nation. And to all the thousands of people that are listening on all the various mediums around the world, may I, from my family here, wish you all a very Merry Christmas, albeit a day late. I get that. And a happy Boxing Day. We're going to take a look in a minute at Boxing Day. I don't know how you spent your Christmas day, but of course now we can celebrate Christmas. Some people have different names for it. They don't celebrate the traditional kind of Christmas. We have the Norwegians, the Scandinavians with their Yuletide as well. And it's this time of year, I really do personally love it. There's a lot to hate about this time of year. I get that. But again, looking on the positive side, and yesterday getting together with family, I was up at Anne's parents' house, and there was three generations of the family there. And I must admit, starting to feel a bit older now. I really am, because the younger ones who used to be the babies, and then there would be me and Anne and her sisters and their boyfriends, and we would be like the life and soul of the party. And looking back on it, everything kind of revolved around us at that point. But now, over time, things have changed. And it's my son, and it's somebody who I'm the godfather to, and all these young ones are really taking over that kind of role that I and my friends, my family once had. And I don't know, maybe this time of year we tend to reflect. We maybe get a bit more poignant. Things mean a bit more at Christmas time than they would at other times of the year. But I was really, really upbeat yesterday, because so often on shows like this and others like mine, it's really easy to look at the negative in the world and to concentrate on really what is the more darker, negative side of reality, when we could be concentrating on things that are really, really good and positive, and getting together with friends, getting together with families when and where it's possible. I think that's definitely something we need to take advantage of. And the only thing I really, really hate about having a show like this, and the family that we've developed around it, around this show, in particular the chat room, and I see people that are making lifelong kind of connections there. And the only thing that really disappoints me at times is the fact that we can't physically all get together. It would be impossible. We've got listeners in Australia, we've got listeners in the US, Canada, Hawaii, all around the world. You name it, probably a listener there, right? And that is one thing I thought about yesterday. Wouldn't it be great if we could get all of us in the one room? And maybe we can't physically do it, but we have our own way of doing it here and connecting via truth frequency. And there's over 30 shows here with individual tribes all coming together at this time, this great awakening, this end of one age and the dawn of another. And in the near future, it might not be reality, but we'll probably all be able to hook up together in virtual reality. I know that sounds weird, right? But with Christmas just yesterday, so many people getting their new virtual reality headsets. And we talk about technology a lot here on the show. Personally, I'm really, really interested in technology. I can make several good cases for the positive side of technology, and I'm very open to, and can make cases for the negative side, okay? But virtual reality, that's becoming more and more and more popular, more prevalent. And I can see in the not too distant future, I'll certainly see it. All of us here listening today will probably see it, when shows like this, networks, truth frequency, we possibly could be getting together in a virtual space. It would almost be like us having a presentation with the show, the host up the front. We would have the ability to show video. And it might sound far fetched. I was watching a brilliant TED interview the other day, TED Talks, and it was the chap that had spent a week wearing a virtual reality headset. And this was one of the things he done when he found that he was kind of missing human contact when he was going into these elaborate virtual worlds, and going out into the, the kind of safaris and looking at the wildlife in Africa and things like that. That's all very well. But he was saying you get lonely pretty quickly. And there was these virtual spaces you can go to right now. And albeit your avatar or something else, but the example he gave was there was all these different people from around the world getting together in what looked like a virtual lounge, and they were sitting watching a SpaceX rocket launch. And what I was thinking about was, imagine when we can do that for something like TFR, and all the individual hosts almost with their individual rooms around this virtual kind of library of Alexandria, shall we say. Because there's so much information on this one network alone that covers so many topics. And that's why I'm always so proud to have a show here on TFR at Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. I want to remind everyone to share that out. People are waking up en masse right now and they're looking for answers. They're looking for information. And they've got lots of questions. That's great. It really is great. And even if I wasn't a host on TFR, it would still be somewhere I'd be going to listen to a number of shows. The same as I used to before I had a show. And my point being, maybe the best gift we could give to somebody who's in that situation right now. Maybe they're coming to you because they know that on your Facebook, on your Twitter, you post about this kind of thing, you know. Maybe the best gift you could give them is to tell them about Truth Frequency. Because on there, whatever it is that's interesting them, I can guarantee at least once a day somebody is going to talk about that. It truly, truly is. Now, we're going to have a super chat coming in here in just a moment from our good friend Lance. And Lance is a great friend of the show. And Lance was, here comes Brian, our good AI guy.
The Norwegians rock, the best fishermen in the universe.
Norwegians do rock. They absolutely do rock. The Scandinavians in general. And of course, I've been to Norway. It definitely holds a special place in my heart. And we've got listeners in Norway as well. So yeah, those Nordics, definitely. And of course, that comes in from YouTube folks. I want to thank Lance for that. He dared me earlier on to show him a naked Sasquatch, and he would give me 10 grand. For 10 grand, I would get naked. It might be the end of the Kev Baker show if I'd done that, admittedly. Probably wouldn't be worth the 10 grand, but, you know, just be careful what you wish for, folks. But listen, I've been rambling on forever, and it's Boxing Day. I've got stories to get into. I'm going to open up the phones for all of you as well. I'm in a good mood. I hope you're in a good mood. I've got a nice little spiced rum to keep me company this Boxing Day. And it's Boxing Day that we start on. So let's head on over here to a website. It's called Mental Floss. Yes, mentalfloss.com. 6 facts about Boxing Day. I would say 5 facts. One of them is kind of self-explanatory. Okay, so we come down to number 1, which I think shouldn't even be included in this list of facts. And it is, number 1, Boxing Day occurs on December the 26th. And if you didn't know that, or you needed to be informed of that, you don't deserve to know any of the other 5 useless facts I've got here for you. So number 2, no one really knows where the name Boxing Day originated. When I was a child, I went through phases. One time, it was obvious, right? It was the day that my poor mum and my gran had to throw out all the boxes that I'd opened up and discarded the day before, right? I think in every innocent child's mind, we think that at some point, don't we? And then, as I got a little bit older, maybe I thought it was a bit of punching, you know, a bit of action when you get to the sales on Boxing Day. But it says here that many historians think the holiday is derived from the church practice. So this possibly comes from the church, they say. And it's the practice of opening alms boxes the day after Christmas and distributing money to the poor. Now, historically, British employers follow the church's lead by sliding workers and servants or cash, or servants' gifts or cash on December the 26th. Now, others believe the box refers to gifts, or the boxes of gifts employers gave to their servants on the day after Christmas. In wealthy households, servants were often required to work on Christmas Day, but given December the 26th off in order to celebrate the holiday on their own. Well, isn't that nice from the 1% of their time, eh? Giving those people a day off, ain't that great? Mate, doesn't that fill you with warmth this Boxing Day? Number 3, Boxing Day is a big day for shopping, and that's what it's become. I tell you what else it's become. If you're over here in the UK and you're like me, you like your footy, you're into your football. Oh, it's become the day of football. And it's not only that, but usually in the UK, when it comes to football, it would be Sky Sports. They're the major network. You've got BT Sports as well. But now we've got Amazon. I know, right? Amazon. They had like, I think it was something like 10 games on today or something. They had every Premier League game in England on. And on another channel, I got to watch my Celtic. So for me, Boxing Day's actually become a day of chilling out with Kevin, watching loads of football. Now, you can criticise me if you like, but we had fun. It was good. As much as hard as it was to swallow that Liverpool are probably going to win the league in England, that's another story altogether. But it says here that historically, Boxing Day, Boxing Day's post-Christmas sales have long made it one of the UK's busiest shopping days of the year. Did you see any of the madness out there today? From what I was hearing, and I haven't had a look into this yet, you see how myself and Joe and Scott, we often describe the Black Friday in November as the annual running of the sheeple. Well, maybe Boxing Day has to be the annual running of the really kind of, I don't know, consumer happy reindeers, because there was a lot of crazy activity out there in shopping centres around the UK, and I imagine the US as well. People getting into fights over parking spaces, people getting into fights over some bargain that they think they're getting. It's money they would never have spent anyway, but don't get into that. So yeah, Boxing Day could be becoming about boxing, literally. So it says, and while it still falls within the top 5 biggest shopping days of the year, the popularity of online shopping has reduced the overall spending people do on December 26th. Now, me personally, and I can't speak for any of you out there, obviously, but because of the aforementioned problems, see people going crazy on Boxing Day over a parking space, or because they can't get something that's £2 cheaper than it was on Christmas Eve, I can't be bothered with that. I love the hustle and bustle of Christmas and the smells and the lights, but all that other stuff, no thanks. And personally, if I was going to take advantage of any today's sales, I'd have done it online. It's delivered to your door the next day. I know, probably doing people out of a job. Don't criticize me for it, but that's the way I roll. So it says here, quote, 15 years ago, it was pretty much guaranteed that you would only get big sales a few times a year. Exactly. And now it feels like every day is a sale, right? Every day it feels like it starts just after Halloween, and now it's going to roll all the way almost up to Easter. You think about it, it's all sales. That's what? That's a big chunk of a year when you add that all up. Like I say, it's soon going to be all year round sales. And still, you're going to be playing way over the odds for things that are worth peanuts. It's just the way the game works. So it says 15 years ago, it was much guaranteed that you'd only get big sales a few times a year. Boxing Day, and then the big summer clearance. Brian Roberts, an analyst at Kantar Retail, told the Telegraph in 2015. But that is no longer the case. Imagine, wow, imagine that's your job, analysing consumer trends. Wow, Brian Roberts. I really hope you had a good Christmas, brother. I really do. The Boxing Day sales are pretty much dead, Roberts added. Black Friday and Cyber Monday illustrates that Christmas sales are starting earlier and earlier. There is a possibility that prices will just keep on dropping in the run up to Christmas, and this makes the Boxing Day sales incredibly diluted. So, number 4, there's no boxing involved in Boxing Day. Well, if they say that they don't know the real reason for Boxing Day, can they really claim that there's no boxing involved? I don't know. I'm just getting pedantic here. I'm just, getting into the semantics of all of this. Despite the name, British observance of Boxing Day, they make it sound like it was like it's celebrating or commemorating some like major battle or something. I don't know. British observance of Boxing Day involve no fisticuffs for Patricians, however, another sport rules the day: fox hunting. Obviously, very, very controversial, but still done in some parts of England where the 1% are very, 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 very abundant. Okay. Now, though it's a long held tradition, many animal rights activists and groups would like to see the practice done away with altogether, especially since technically it's illegal. One rule for them, another rule for us, folks. Let's not get into it. In the days leading up to Boxing Day, the International Fund for Animal Welfare is often very vocal in reminding citizens that chasing or killing of foxes and other British mammals with a pack of dogs was banned. It was banned because the overwhelming majority of the UK public rejected the so called sport as cruel and abhorrent. And no wonder. It's terrible. It really is. But you can guarantee people would have been doing that today. And listen, hey, I'm all for free will and everything else, but I don't know. There's just something kind of wrong about that. I don't know. It feels a bit unfair to me, you know. Just saying, just saying. Number five, other countries do not take or do take the name more literally. So, in other countries, Boxing Day celebrations are more literal. Some former British colonies in Africa and the Caribbean celebrate their holiday with prize fighting events. Now we're talking. Now that's getting into it. You see, at least over there, they're open about just going for a scrap. Whereas over here, we throw in like shopping and Christmas sales, and we try and justify why we're wanting to get rid of some male energy, you know. So number six in Ireland, December 26th is sometimes known as Wren Day. So Ireland sometimes refer to today as Wren Day, a nod to an old tradition in which poor children would kill a wren, then sell the feathers to neighbours for good luck. In today's celebrations, the wren is fake, so as not to trigger any of the really kind of the crazy mob that might have thought that wrens were getting harmed in the Irish Wren Day celebrations. Yes, indeed. How did you celebrate yours? Was anything like mine? I had Anne's sister down. Like I said, we were watching football as well. We were having a laugh with Anne's sister's kind of children. One of them absolutely glued to a tablet playing these games. And it's the only time you get them quiet, folks. It really, you know, what is it about these machines? Does it literally send children into a trance? And I'm not saying it in a negative way, okay? But you see it time and time again. They're watching something, and when you watch them closely, they're literally in a different world. And it's for another show to get into the science of that, what that could be doing. But I tell you, it really kind of hammered home today when I seen that in my own home with a young child. So, how did you spend your day though? Did you pig out? Did you eat the old leftovers from yesterday? Yesterday, all the leftovers went to Anne's sister. Kev, not a happy bunny. I'm somebody that likes the stuffing, and then on the day after, I like to kind of fry up uh, some of the stuff that's been left over from the day before. No chance to do that this year. I almost feel deprived. I feel like I've missed out on Christmas because I didn't have my Boxing Day stuffing. Can you believe that? I know. I'm sure Polly Nation could rustle me up a good feed on this Boxing Day. That's for sure. But listen, folks, we're almost one segment into this. I've got a couple of other stories we can have a look at the headlines of after the break. We're not going to get too deep into them. The reason being that I want to get through them so I can open up the phones for all of you. I'm going to give it over to you, the audience out there. How was your Christmas? Maybe you want to talk about something paranormal. I really hope our good friend Neil from the UK phones in again. We'll be able to get more into some of the really strange stuff that Neil seems to have had around him for a long time. And there are some people like that. It's almost as if the paranormal, the supernatural, it's either drawn to them or they generate some kind of energy that makes things happen. It's a strange thing, folks. And it's the kind of thing that really I love to get into, because we can talk about current events, we can talk about the mundacity of the sales on Boxing Day until the cows come home. But it's when you start to get into the woo, when you start to get into that strange stuff, the kind of things that make go bump in the night, that I think really takes this to the next level. We'll be back after the break. Don't go anywhere on this Boxing Day special. No fighting on KBS. Don't go anywhere, folks. Yes, and I'm still here with you crazy characters out there on YouTube. How you all doing? Want to thank you all for tuning in today. And remember, please visit the home of the Kev Baker Show over on tfrlive.com. Share out this video, share out the network. Remember to leave us a like. That would be so appreciated. And you never know. You never know when Anne comes out the bath. She might even grace us with her company in the chat again. I know, it's crazy days. When Anne's in the chat room, it's crazy days, right? So I'll be back in a couple of minutes, folks, with a lot more. And remember, we're going to be opening up the phones for all of you. Have you got the woo? I'm sure you do. Oh, yeah. Blue Days, could I not come to your house? If I knew you were eating leftovers, I seriously would have come to your house. Honestly. And DJ Rustler in the chat. I wish I'd been able to go live yesterday, brother. That would have meant you could have spent time with us, your family, because we're all family here, okay? Every single one of us. We're all in the same boat. Nobody's better than anyone else in here. And I really do. I send so much love and energy out to anyone who's alone this time of year. I've been there. I know how hard it can be. I always know you're never alone. And it might not seem like much. And this isn't self-promotion. But if you do find yourself alone, come along to the KBS Discord server. The stream bots, I think some of the mods, they'll drop a link in there. You're more than welcome over there. I know it's not much. I know it's not the same. But you're never alone. Welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, festive travelers, interdimensional creepers, anything out there, whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are, whenever you are. Welcome to the Kev Baker Show. And yes, if you're down under, you're already past Boxing Day, right? I never thought of that. And a big shout out to all of our listeners down under. And we're getting closer to 2020. That excites me because I've got a couple of archaeologists coming on from Australia in the new year. You ever come across people where you connect with, albeit digitally, but you can just tell they're like, you've known them for ages? I don't know. Australian people kind of have that magnetism anyway. But yeah, that's something for us all to look forward to in the new year when we're going to have a couple of amazing archaeologists on all the way from down under. And a big shout out to anyone in the affected areas down in Australia in their current bushfires that have been happening. Just equally as horrendous as some of the stuff we've seen in California. It really is. I tell you what, you don't know how well off you are sometimes when it comes to geography. We moan and complain about the weather over here, but when you compare it to other places, I think the UK, we have it kind of good when you think about it. So then, during the break, I was hanging out over there at the chat room on tfrlive.com/chat. Yes, we have our very own chat room. Big shout out to Vinny in there. Vinny, I got your email today, and I tried to like decrypt the files that you sent me the first time round. I don't know, dude. I must have been doing something wrong, but I have got the documents that open now. Thank you. I'll be perusing them after the show. But it shocked me, did our Vinny. He said that he can't find anywhere where they play the song "Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer" anymore. It doesn't surprise me, right? And over Christmas dinner yesterday, it came up in conversation that my very favourite Christmas song is basically not allowed anymore. No, the Pogues, the fairy tale of New York. You know that one, Shane McGowan, yeah, Kirsty McCall. Everyone loves the Pogues, right? Brilliant. No, no, the BBC they stopped playing that. Yes, indeed. This new crazy woke age that we're in. I don't know. But then I found another station that played the old version of "Baby It's Cold Outside." So I kept playing that all day long. There's always a compromise, right? You can always find something. So Vinny, me and you can get together and we can that can be our personal battle, taking on the woke brigade to save the, the, the Santa songs. I'm having a laugh, folks. We're taking it easy here today on the Kev Baker Show. I hope you had a brilliant Christmas, Krampus, holidays, Festivus, Christmas, schmix, mish, mish, call it what you will. I want to be inclusive of everyone out there. Maybe you wanted a really miserable Christmas. And if you wanted that, I hope you got everything you wished for. I really do. I just hope everyone is chilling out, happy. And we're going to take a look at a couple of headlines and then we open up the phones. Yes, indeed. It's your Boxing Day special on TFRlive.com. Right here on the Kev Baker Show, coming to you from a very cool, smart city, Glasgow. Ah, yeah, the smart city. I tell you, it wasn't feeling too smart over Christmas when my ISP started playing funny fellas with Kev here. But we're back. We're live now. I just wish I could have been here, especially yesterday. And for people out there who maybe couldn't make it home to family or for whatever reason that they had to spend Christmas alone, never be alone, folks. You know, here at TFR, there's always the chat room. And me over on YouTube, we've opened up a Discord server where people hang out 24/7. Now, it might not seem like much, but I've been there at Christmas time and I've been alone. So I know how it feels. And it can be the hardest time of year for that. Not that any time of year is good for that kind of thing. Loneliness doesn't really discriminate, but this time of year it seems to be emphasized, multiplied almost. And if you do feel that way, please don't. Honestly, reach out. I'm just the same as anyone else. Don't think because somebody's got a show that they're any different, they're any better, they're any more important than anyone. And I try as best I can, try and answer Facebook messages. I'm not on there as much as I used to be through choice, and I feel all the better for it. That's another thing altogether. The point being, I hate to think of anyone feeling alone. And I might not be on Discord, but there's so many other equally great people in there. And it might just be what you need. It might just be nice to have somebody there to listen to you or to recognize that you're there. So if you feel that way, please, please, please get in touch. It's KBS Discord at protonmail.com. So then, with that said, let's take a look at some of the other stuff I pulled up here today. And of course, if you were down in Australia that I mentioned, or Africa, unfortunately here in the UK we didn't get it, but we had the Christmas Ring of Fire solar eclipse. Yes, I love when it comes to eclipses and things like that. I think it's if you're able to catch one of these, like it goes over your country or whatever, and you're able to witness it firsthand with your own eyes, there's something truly amazing about it. There really, really is. And of course, this was happening today down in the Pacific. And like I say, if you were in Australia, parts of Africa, I believe, they witnessed today's solar eclipse. I think they call it the annular solar eclipse. So it says if you don't happen to be in Europe, Asia, Australia, or Africa, you unfortunately missed out on catching an in-person glimpse of the 2019 solar eclipse on Christmas. Now, dubbed the Ring of Fire, the spectacular daytime view features only a blazing outline of the sun as the moon temporarily covers the celestial center. The appearance is striking as it is rare. Each year, there's an average of only 2 solar eclipses, which are viewable to only certain isolated parts of the planet. So yeah, and I thought often when it comes to this, and we've had a few over the UK in recent times, but it makes me think of ancient times when the people in power, those with the knowledge, they would use these kind of astronomical celestial events to scare the locals, ooh, ooga booga. If you don't do this, we'll make that sun disappear. And of course, lo and behold, the next morning or whenever it is, the sun starts to disappear. And whatever it was that they were told to do, you better believe people are bending over backwards to do it, right? And it's no different today. Okay, we know now through science and we're more educated, at least we think we are, than these people back in the old days, but the same tactics are still used today. That's why I sometimes there's so much more meaning for me anyway to one of these. It inspires thought, and I don't know, kind of puts things into perspective when you see something like that in the heavens, and then when you can compare that to other stars that are out there. Our sun, it's brilliant. I'm not taking anything away from it. If it wasn't for our sun, we couldn't be here. Okay? However, when you start to measure up against other stars out there that we know about, and then think of the ones we don't know about, our thing is so tiny. It's like a grain of sand in comparison to some of these other stars that are out there. So I thought it was interesting. There was live streams of this today. I like this kind of thing. Maybe it's your thing, maybe it's not. I think it's as cool as a full moon. It's full of woo, right? So if we come over here, I've got another story now. And this is about Boxing Day. And with what I was saying just a moment ago about how this time of year been really tough for some people, I found a story that really had a bit of a feel good factor about it today. And it might resonate with some out there. It might inspire others. I don't know. I just felt that although it seemed like a bit of a kind of downer of a topic, the way that this has been turned round, I think there's something positive to this. It says, and this comes from The Guardian, it says, it now seems a miracle my father died on Boxing Day when all the family could be together. I just want to read this article. It's not long at all. It's only a few paragraphs, but I think there's a really important message in here somewhere. It says, this year I've slipped further into Christmas mania than ever. I've always been a person who wraps their gifts in October and spends the entirety of Christmas Day in homemade reindeer ears But 2019 has had a markedly more intense. I started looking at decorations in early November, organised a 4-course potluck dinner with friends as soon as December had started, and spent hours comparing essentially identical fir trees online. I'd done all of this because I love Christmas, I really do. Also because I knew that I had to reclaim it. On Boxing Day last year, my dad died after what it would be an understatement to call a long illness, a brain tumour of impressive complexity which developed over 20 years. Now, death can knock you off your feet at any time of year, but there was something particularly surreal about taking my brother out of the room where our father had just died and turning on the TV to cut through the silence and the noise only to find Macaulay Culkin setting booby traps in Home Alone. Now, the rest of the festive season was a blur, except for the fact that it was the festive season in appearance only. I was mainlining chocolate orange segments while looking up funeral venues, all of which dutifully replied with, quote, a sorry for your loss message before quoting ridiculous prices to put some sandwiches on the table. Sorry, indeed. Now, we couldn't have the funeral until well into the new year because everything had shut down over Christmas and spots at the crematorium were going quicker than Glastonbury tickets. Now, as the season came and went, anticipatory grief turned into actual grief, which then turned into confusion and other emotions both new and familiar in their painfulness. I would occasionally think about how Christmas was indelibly tainted, and then I'd feel a sense of guilt for making it about myself, reminded of the unfortunate moment in Keeping Up with the Kardashians when Kim loses an expensive earring and her sister Courtney snarls, Kim, there are people who are dying. But slowly my feelings began to shift. It helped that one of my close friends had also lost a parent about the same time and knew how disorientating the whole thing was. The Christmas lights were still up in the street when we had our first post death debrief. By late summer, I had started to think it almost a miracle that my dad, humble, brave, exacting, had died at pretty much the only time when we might have all been in the same place at the same time. Also, it was the time of year when friends and families were at their most available, and when we did have a mountain of chocolate oranges, a great accompaniment of, to the deepest of existential crisis. I began to feel grateful for the peacefulness of Christmas and how ever for an agnostic, or sorry, even for an agnostic, it was underpinned by hope. I was terrified by the thought of it and of getting lost in unbridled sea of joy that wouldn't be fully applicable to us, but I was also appreciative. And so to now, with my tree up, my firewood scented candle burning and Mariah playing, I feel both an immense sense of loss and a great anticipation for the rituals, the cold, and the familiar comforts. It will be difficult. It would be strange if it wasn't. But perhaps, in many ways, it is a parting gift. So I don't know. I took something quite warm, quite heartening from that story. And like I say, if you have had to spend Christmas alone, or if some tragedy has struck around this time of year, reach out. Don't be alone, folks. There's always somebody out there that's willing to listen, somebody that you can talk to. If you can't get a hold of me, then I'm sure one of the other hosts here or anyone over at the chat room, I'm sure there's always somebody out there. If you happen to be feeling alone, don't feel alone at Christmas, okay? Everyone's out there and we're all one big team. If we can't look out for each other, by the most simplest form possible, by just listening or just being there, it doesn't really matter what the 1% throw at us, really, does it? Because I think we've already lost the game at that point. I don't roll like that. We're turning things round for 2020. We're going to be a lot more positive, and we're going to take a look now maybe the most ridiculous Christmas gift that anyone could have been given yesterday. I don't know. I thought I'd seen it all, folks. I really did think I'd seen it all. But what if I was to tell you there's a new set of earrings out, and it's not Anne that told me about these earrings. I think if I was to give these earrings to Anne, I reckon it wouldn't be the shoe that I'd have to worry about. I think the earrings would be getting thrown at me real quickly. But check this out. And as a security guard, this is crazy, okay? Earrings, okay? Earrings that look as if they're actually still on the display tag. You know, like, come on, girls, you know what I'm talking about. You go and you pick them up, and they've got the little white cardboard bit, right? And they've got the little, yeah. And it says here in the Lad Bible that shoppers are baffled by earrings that look like the cardboard back is still on. Nothing says "I love you" on Christmas like a gift that says shoppers that's just earrings with the back on. Listen, I found this story today. I just found it kind of ridiculous. Go and check out. I'm going to drop the link over at the TFR chat room. I don't know if there's somebody out there that you don't like. Maybe this would be the gift. You could say, "Listen, I didn't see you on Christmas, but when I seen these, I immediately thought of you," and hand them these crazy looking earrings that I don't know if these things ever become a thing. I'm giving up. But one other story I found about this Christmas festive period before we move on and open up the phones and let all of you have your say on this Boxing Day. It didn't really go too well for one gentleman enjoying his turkey dinner and all the trimmings. No. Britain's most wanted, just when he was sitting down to get his turkey dinner. Yeah, UK's most wanted man. He didn't go down in a blaze of glory. There wasn't any hail of bullets or any big long standoff. No, he got caught tucking into his turkey dinner. It says here one of the UK's most wanted men has been arrested as he sat down to eat his Christmas dinner in The Hague. 28-year-old Daniel Burdett from the Liverpool area was arrested by Dutch police under a European arrest warrant as he dined in a restaurant on Christmas Day. He spent 5 years on the run from the law, according to a spokesperson from the National Crime Agency. And yeah, Christmas dinner didn't go down too well for this one man. No, absolutely not. Let's see now. We've got this story here I came across today. Kim Jong Un, crazy horse as I call him, he's threatening to like surprise Donald Trump with some kind of surprise over the next couple of days. We know when it comes to North Korea what the surprise will be. I think it takes a bit of the surprise element out of it when Kim Jong Un, crazy horse, comes out and warns Trump about it. But then I found this crazy headline. I went looking for details on what Kim Jong Un had been saying. And like you can read here, maybe it says Donald Trump is the greatest threat to world peace. And they've put him ahead of Kim Jong Un and Vladimir Putin. Now, personally, I love Vladimir Putin. I don't see him as a threat to world security. I see him as a keeper of Russian values and maintaining the integrity and the sanity of the Russian people by isolating them from some of the madness that comes from the West, right? But on the day when the Russians unveiled a fourth generation nuclear powered submarine, and amidst a backdrop of Kim Jong Crazy Horse threatening the world with missile tests, it's not either of those two that's the scariest man in the world. No. The Orange Man is the biggest threat to world security. I don't know, folks. It's got to be the lamest attempt to go after Trump, I think. Listen, you know me, I'm apolitical, but I really don't see Donald Trump as the biggest threat to world peace. I really don't. Now, do I see Russia or anything else? Listen, that's up for debate. But really, when are they going to get fed up and tired of booting this guy? I mean, is it ever going to stop? I don't know. They say he's going to get impeached and all the rest of it. I have no idea. But yeah, the Germans are absolutely terrified of Donald Trump. If I was German, I'd be more terrified of Angela Merkel. She's crazy. She's almost as crazy as Nicola Sturgeon. It's a fine line between the two of them. Now, if anyone's a threat to world peace, I'd put those two ahead of Donald Trump. Folks, I just brought it up. I thought it was a bit funny on Boxing Day when, like I say, you've got literally the Russians rolling out new nuclear subs. You've got Kim Jong Un threatening the fire of fireworks. Who knows what could happen? But no, the Germans. The Germans are determined that it is Donald Trump, the scariest man. Germans perceive Donald Trump as the greatest threat to world peace than other top leaders, according to a new survey from YouGov. The poll, commissioned by German news agency DPA, found that 41% of Germans feel that Trump is the most dangerous of 5 globally important leaders, a list which includes Russian President Vladimir Putin, no surprise there, right? No surprise. North Korean dictator Kim Jong Un, Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, and Chinese President Xi Jinping. By contrast, the world leader rated most dangerous by the second largest share of Germans was Kim, who was selected by 17% of respondents, and Putin and Khamenei, Khamenei, I don't know how to pronounce that. I apologize to any Iranian listeners out there, earned that designation from 8% of respondents, while Z was only chosen by 7%. Now, YouGov surveyed 2,024 people in Germany between December 16th and the 18th. So, admittedly, old Kim Jong Crazy Horse hadn't made his Christmas surprise vow to Orange Man bad at that point. I get it. But who do you think is the biggest threat to world peace out there? Is it any one individual? Because I don't think it's any one individual, right? I don't know. To be honest with you, I've never really thought about it. Never really thought. If I had to put my money on who the most dangerous of all the world leaders are, I don't know. I need to sit and think about that. You got to remember that a lot of them are in the same gang together, so I don't know. Quite tricky to pin a tail on that donkey. That might be something I could ask some of the guests, like Ben Emlyn Jones and Charlie Robinson, when they come on. That'd be there. Be interesting to think who they see as potentially the most dangerous threat to us all out there. Could it be all of the above, ladies and gentlemen? Could it be? Could it be that they're all in the one big super club? And it may seem like a lot of division on the outside, but I think when you get closer to the real the pinnacle, the apex of that pyramid, I think all of them come pretty close together. And when it comes to people like that were named there, don't get me wrong, they're highly powerful. They're supremely kind of important, that they really are, obviously. But I'm always very, very aware of David Icke and what he says. And he's right. Because people like Trump, Putin, he could probably stay as long as he likes, right enough. Xi Jinping, maybe. But, the Western politicians, they're here today and gone tomorrow. They're a face. They're a front man. They're a salesman for the actual power structure, the real power apparatus that they just come along and front up for, 4 to 8 years. Boris Johnson, exactly the same. And no conspiracy, it's how the world works. I'm not saying these people aren't influential. Of course they are. Absolutely. However, what's more important than them is the agendas that they're either pushing or taking one road to get to as opposed to another. That's where the more important stuff lies. And it's that agenda, that system that I fear more than any one man or woman out there. It really is. I don't know what you think, but yeah, it's the way the game's played, not the players, that scare me. Now, when we come back after the break, I'm going to open up the phones for all of you out there. And I would love for you to become a part of the Boxing Day special and make it your Boxing Day special when you can call in after the break. I'll give you the numbers just before we go there. If you're in the US, all you got to do is dial 213-233-3998. I'll be back after these messages. Don't go anywhere. See, I had to sing a little bit there because when I sing, the content ID match goes crazy. Now, Lance is definitely trying to confuse my AI companion. He really is. I think the AI companion might just go. I do. But we're going to have a super chat coming in a moment. We really are. And then we're going to open up the phones. If you want to call into the show, folks, I'm going to drop it in the TFR chat room. Woo!
Hurrah. Hurrah. OCCC. KKK and ro ooh lef yun funny voice ha ha what a hash at. $.
Oh, Lance, that was priceless. You know what? You know, that was that funny hearing Brian say that. I'm going to do it again. That was cool.
Hurrah. Hurrah. OCCC. KKK and ro ooh lef yun funny voice ha ha what a hash at. $.
Yeah, and I need to bring this up. Dang, this was a story that I thought I'd put in the folder for a safe space. This was one that would never work for radio people, but look how stupid that earring is, folks. No wonder shoppers are baffled. And trust me, as a security guard, I would have been stopping this individual on her way out of the store. Hey, come on. Listen, it looks like you're wearing something that hasn't been paid for, right? I mean, come on, girls. If your loved one was sitting there waiting for you to open your present on Christmas morning and you ripped it all open and they've gone to great lengths to disguise it with various layers of wrapping and different size box, and you finally get down to what you can definitely distinguish as a jewelry box. You open it. Can you imagine your initial reaction if you'd seen that sitting there? You'd have tried to take them off the tag, right? And again, folks, it's not even a joke. Okay, it's not even a joke. It's a designer that's done it. There they are. There's the advert for them. Crazy. Post stud fastening, approximately 4-inch drop advert. Hey, £84. £84. Wow, I tell you what, dang, dude. Eh? For £84? No danger. That's wrong. We'll be back after these messages, folks. Get ready to call into the show. I'll give the numbers when we get back. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. Oh, yeah. Wonder who we're going to get calling today. Oh, can you blow us away with your woo? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you all for taking time out of your Boxing Day festivities to come and hang out here on TFRlive.com, Truth Frequency Radio, where silence is consent and where we offer you protection from the vast amounts of deception that are out there. Again, thank you for tuning in today. I'm Kev Baker. Hour number 2 of today's show, and I'm going to be opening up all of the phone lines for all of you absolutely amazing individuals that are out there. You can call up about absolutely anything. Maybe it's something I can speak to, maybe it's something I can't. I know a little bit about a lot of things. I know very fine details about very few. Yes, a jack of all trades and certainly a master of none. But I'm sure we can get into some good woo. I'm really, really, every time I open up the phones, I'm always left kind of shocked in a good way. Because I went for years thinking that the phone lines, they used to terrify me. It really did, and for no reason. Whenever we opened them up on Freaky Friday or Hangar 18 in the past, it was always good calls. We used to have a right laugh as well. We would have our fun caller Harbinder that would call into the show from time to time. I always used to say there's no way I will ever be confident enough to open up phone lines when it's just me here myself. Well, here we are now, a number of years later, and wow, what an untapped source of golden information I'd been missing out on. So, to tap right back into it, I'm opening up the phone lines for all of you today. And if you want to be that source of the woo, if you want to be the person that steals the show, and all the listeners on their way out today after the show finishes, your name is on their mind, all you have to do is call in. And we've already got a caller on the line. But for anyone else out there who wants to be a part of this, please take down the following numbers. If you're in the US, all you got to do is call me on 213 233 3998. That's 213 233 3998. Also, if you're in the UK, 0044 203 393 2871. That is for the last time. 0044 203 393 2871. I didn't mean like for the last time ever. I just meant the last time I shouted out just now. We've got a couple of callers on the line. But like I always tend to do when I open the phones, the last thing I remember to do is connect myself to the phone lines. Oh, I'm such a rookie when it comes to all of this. I really am. You get Clyde Lewis, you got George Norrie out there, you got all these big, huge, massive shows that take these calls flawlessly. And me here in the corner of my room, I can't remember to connect the dang phone line. So we're connecting now. And when we do connect, and I'm hoping we'll connect very, very. Did that work? No, it didn't. Let's try again, shall we? Oh, hang on. Hang on, maybe we're in now. Wow, we've got so many callers on the line. Here we go. Hang on. Thinking that's just going to be working now. I hope. That's it. Now I remembered what to do. So then, we're going to our first caller on the line. And it is area code 716. And it says Jamestown, New York. But welcome to the show. What's your name and what do you want to get into on this Boxing Day?
Hey, boss, it's Lisa.
Lisa! Whoa, Lisa. Thank you so, so much for calling in. I can't believe you called me the boss. Oh, no. There's no bosses around here. But how are you doing? I hope you had a lovely Christmas, yes?
Yes, Polly turned it around for me. It's all good.
Ah, and a big shout out to Polly as well. Yes, our good friend Polly.
You have a good holiday?
I did. It was all right yesterday. It was a bit of a a manic day. I went up to Anne's family, and we had our dinner up there, and it was great, Lisa. It really was. We had a really lovely meal. I didn't get drunk, which was really quite a surprise. Usually I get drunk on Christmas, but no, I was sensible this year. But I tell you one thing, I ended up feeling a bit old. Because I remember when it was me and Anne and Anne's sisters, and we'd be the wild ones. We'd be the ones like having the dinner and running about mad and, getting ready to go look for parties and going to the town, stuff like that. And then yesterday, I realized that there's been a generational shift. I've now moved one rung up the generational ladder, and it's now my son and Anne's sister's kids. They're the ones that are having all the festive fun. It was good and it was bad at the same time, Lisa, if that makes sense. Getting old, but it was great to watch.
Oh, I totally get it.
And what did you do
Sometimes it takes getting knocked back a couple runs
Yeah,
to move forward.
what did you do for Christmas? Tell us what were you getting up to?
I stayed home and kept my head stuck in the sand.
Now, you didn't have a woke Christmas, did you? I hope you didn't have a very woke one.
No, I didn't.
That's
It
okay.
ended well, though.
That's okay. And Lisa, you live, I take it, in the New York area, right? And I was covering.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I was covering a story earlier on today. It was about the Sasquatch, and it was a former police officer from New York State called Brian Goslin. Now, I don't know whereabouts you are in New York State, but I remember you showing me some pictures of where you work, and it kind of looks way, way out, like kind of in the wilderness. You're not anywhere near kind of Sasquatch land, are you?
I'm out in the middle of BFE, Kev.
Okay.
Think grapes and farmland.
Oh. Much woo where you are, Lisa?
Yes, there is. And I had run-ins on my property when I had my farm. And after all the boys grew up and they were gone, that was the main reason why I sold it. Because the Chautauqua Gorge was right behind my property.
Now, I don't know how much you want to share or not, but when you say you had a farm, what kind of things were you experiencing?
Well, my favorite horse, I walked out one day and he was dead. All the blood was drawn out of him, but there wasn't a drop nowhere. Couldn't really see a mark on him anywhere. Something was going into my hen house, and I always called my chicken my girls, and something was just ripping their heads off them and throwing their heads on the ground, just ripping them to shreds. They weren't being eaten or nothing. It was just like fluff everywhere. Something was doing it to my ducks too, but it was like my ducks would follow me around. So it was like they followed whatever it was to the woods or down to the edge of the gorge. And my favorite duck, who was sitting on a nest, I couldn't figure out where she was. So I went out on my four-wheeler looking for her, and I found her body by the pond. But, no, I found her head by the pond. I found her body up into the woods. So it must be she was following whatever it was. It ripped its head off and then threw it back towards the pond. But something took off with one of my bull calves and all kinds of freaky crap.
Now, was it just your farm, or how about the other farms round about you? Did they have weird stuff going on as well?
Well, diagonally across from me, which out in the middle of the country, your neighbors aren't all that close to you. Yeah. But diagonally, this older couple had peacocks. And if you've ever heard them scream, they sound like a woman screaming bloody murder. And I would hear it all the hours of the day and night. And it used to get unsettling. And then all of a sudden, it stopped. So I went over, I had baked some bread and stuff and went over to take it to the old lady. And I asked her what was going on with her peacocks. They were being awful quiet. And I knew what was going on over at my place. And she said that something had let itself into the peacock house, which was almost like a humongous barn, like garage. and something just went in, did the same thing to her peacock. Just snapped their necks, ripped them off, shredded them to pieces and bits, and it even closed the door behind them.
Now, that is quite compelling. The fact that, I mean, here we have something opening and closing a door. And I was going to ask you, I mean, what did you and your neighbor or the farm close to you, I mean, what did you chalk that up to? But now that I've heard that description, I mean, did you think it was A, Sasquatch type stuff? B, maybe we hear about the UFOs, the aliens when it comes to farm animals? Or C, do you think it was maybe some nefarious kind of group that were active in the area?
Well, me, I've been unplugged for many years and deep in the woo. For me, it was either A, Sasquatch, or B, Dogman.
Why is
my
it,
bolt
Lisa,
cap had went missing.
Lisa, I keep coming across this Dogman thing. Now, it used to be a laugh. We would have Chuck Bam Bam.
Dogman's really strong around here, Kev.
I'm going to have to really, you know, I had Linda Godfrey. We had been in contact by email, and Linda, for anyone who doesn't know, she's probably one of the world's leading researchers and writers when it comes to Dogman phenomena. And she was on Clyde Lewis's show just again recently. It was quite fascinating. I'm gonna have to reach out, Lisa, because it's not just you. There's other people out there as well who have contacted me, and the Dogman keeps coming up. What I always say, Lisa, I always say you got to pay attention to the patterns, and you got to follow them, right? So we're gonna definitely do a Dogman special in the next month or so. I promise you. And anyone else who's interested in that.
That would be great.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Lisa, I have got phone lines that are glowing red hot here, and I hate to let you go, but I'm going to have to go to some of our other callers now. I want to thank you for everything that you've done for me and the family, the show, and to wish you a really, really prosperous, healthy and happy 2020, okay? And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, Lisa.
Well, here's to 2020, and just a quick shout out to Polly and Queenie. I seen them in the chat.
Well,
but
I will
hop on over to some other callers.
Will do. Thank you so much, Lisa. And yeah, a big shout out to Polly and Queenie out there, like Lisa was saying. And Lisa is somebody, like I was mentioning before about the Discord server, there's usually somebody kicking about there. And Lisa, she really is. She's so brilliant. She's usually there at the drop of a hat. And it can be for fun. It can be for something serious. There's always something going on Discord. So please, folks, head on over there if you are stuck for somewhere to chill out. It's almost like a throwback to the old chat rooms of when the internet was just starting out. Remember all that craziness? It's kind of like that, but a whole lot more sensible sometimes. So then, and I think I know who this next caller might be. We're going all the way to Norway right now. Yes, Norway. This is the Kev Baker Show. How are you doing? And happy Krampus.
Hello,
there
Baker
he
Will.
is. It's Sid. And for everyone out there that's listening.
It's Sid.
Yes, Sid.
Hello, Baker Will.
Oh, I love your accent, dude. I really do.
I call in and say thank you to you and all the listeners from TFR and everybody in the chat room and Discord.
Oh, dude, it's so
if
great.
If it wasn't for all of them, I wouldn't have sent you the package.
Ah, yes, the package. And like I was saying to you earlier, Sid, and to share this with the wider audience out there, Sid told me he was going to send me a package through, and when it came, it confused Anne because it said one thing on the cover, and then it was definitely something else underneath. And long story short,
I had to do something cheeky.
I know. Sid, it wouldn't be us if we weren't cheeky. And what the audience won't know is myself and Sid, we've spoke a couple of times off air. We've contacted each other through Discord. And yeah, so Sid, come on, man. How was your Christmas? Tell us how it went, dude.
Terrible.
Oh, surely not, man.
That's terrible.
What happened? Do you want to share it, or would you rather get into some good woo? And I know that you're somebody, right, that's interested in the whole secret space disclosure type
I like
topic.
my woo.
Yep. And yesterday,
I didn't get any woo for Christmas. There was no Quebec show.
I know, dude. I know that's because of my pesky internet service provider. They showed me no Christmas spirit at all. Imagine cutting off the Kevmeister on Christmas Eve when I had plans to go live.
I know.
Imagine it. Yeah, imagine it. But, dude, you're somebody like secret space, that kind of stuff. And in a roundabout way, that's how you came to find the Kev Baker show. I want to get your thoughts on something that I caught yesterday. And one of the bigger shows out there that cover that kind of topics is Jimmy Church. Now, Jimmy was talking about TTSA, that's To the Stars Academy. I've spoke about them on the show.
It.
Did you see it? Yeah,
it.
And for anyone who missed it, anyone out there who might have missed it, Jimmy Church has basically said when it comes to the TTSA or when it comes to Bob Lazar, he's absolutely done with both of those topics. But Sid, I want to ask you, what do you think of TTSA and Bob Lazar?
Stupid Americans.
You don't think Bob's genuine then, no? That definitely answered my question there. What about To the Stars Academy? What do you make? What do you make of all that stuff? Because you were the guy that told me about.
I think it's too over the top, Kev. It's too over the top, and it doesn't make sense, you know.
Well,
a lot of countries has secret space programs. Norway has a secret space program.
Well,
we built half of the International Space Station.
Tell people about the spaceport that you've got in Norway, because a lot of people have heard of Kazakhstan. They do a lot of rocket launches, but I'd never heard of Norway, the spaceport. So tell the audience a little bit about that, Sid.
We're trying really hard now to be the next country in Europe to start launching satellites and stuff, and we're fighting together with a couple of other countries. But there's also other, I think Sweden is fighting against us. They also have quite a northern launch pad. So our Andøya spaceport, it's almost quite close to the polar circle, and it's unique to get stuff into space because it takes a lot less fuel to send stuff to space from there than from Florida.
And is this somewhere that the European Space Agency is now using quite a lot, Sid?
Yeah, ESA is there, yeah.
What do you make of them? A lot of people, I mean, we know about NASA, but maybe people outside of America, they might not know too much about the European Space Agency. I'm actually quite encouraged by some of the stuff that they're doing. What's your thoughts on them?
They don't make us lot to talk about themselves, you know, like NASA and stuff does.
Yeah, NASA, they're always too busy.
We don't work like that.
No, we're more reserved over here. It's a different kind of attitude we've got altogether. But when it comes to Norway...
Yeah, it's a totally different attitude.
Now, one place springs to mind. Now, you'll be able to tell me, Sid, but it's a infamous... how would you put it? I think it's a fjord. It's like a valley where there was really mysterious lights. What's the name of that valley again? Do you know what I'm talking about? That's the one.
It's called Hessdalen Valley. Yeah.
Now, what do you make of that? Was that UFO stuff, or was that
back in the 80s? Yeah.
Now, was that spaceport there at the time?
I don't know, but there was no. It's not near that, but there was definitely something going on there. But nobody knows what it was.
So what's it like for UFO sightings up in Norway? I mean, we hear about the ones in America. I check out the ones that we hear about in the UK.
It's the same as every other country. We have our own MUFON and stuff, but you don't hear about this as much.
Now you might know, you might not. I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, Sid. But when it comes to the Nordic traditions, the Vikings and things like that, is there anywhere or is there any talk of otherworldly visitors that we could maybe look at ancient alien type stuff? Is there
Oh
any?
yeah, of course. Yes, yes, yes.
Wow, now that's very interesting. Anything off the top of your head, or am I going to have to go and do my research here?
It's like some people think like from that time that maybe we got put here as a prison. We actually come from somewhere else.
Yeah, we're kind of
And we
sent
were
here.
put here and deleted, and we had to invent everything all over again.
Wow.
And if you were really nice and you were a good warrior, you got to Valhalla.
And that's the
You got back
great
home again.
that's the great hall where all the warriors sit. Am I right?
Yeah, you
Yep.
go back home again.
I really, dude. I find the Viking kind of story, the history, all that stuff. I find it thoroughly interesting. I really, really do. Sid, I want to thank you for phoning in today, brother.
My grandmother is a researcher into ancestry,
Ah,
and she got my family back on her side back to year 1050.
1050.
And then I have like Viking family.
I was going to say that's roughly when the Vikings would have been really ruling most of Northern Europe,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Wow,
Yeah,
man.
but I live kind of inland and not on the sea.
I've got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at the history of the Vikings, though, you know, the as seafaring folk.
There's probably a little bit of Norwegian in here.
Fascinating, dude. I tell you what, man, we could probably speak about the Vikings all night on here. But, dude, I'm going to let you get back to it. Sid, listen, I thank you so much for calling in, man.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. And
And nice to talking to you. And I want to say before I go, thank you to everybody in the chat rooms and Discord and stuff again. You make this so cool.
awesome,
Together
man.
with you, of course. Yeah.
Dude, in 2020, me and you and the whole audience, we're going to dig right into this pesky secret space stuff, right? We're going to get as close to
Yeah,
the
I think
truth
we
as we
should
can.
have our own conference.
Oh, how cool would that be, right? Definitely. The safe space.
KBS in Scotland. Yeah, KBS conference
no,
in Scotland 2020.
Sid, come on, man. If we're going to do a conference, right? Me and you want to go to somewhere like Hawaii or Australia, somewhere we can get a suntan, dude. Come on.
Yeah, you want to swim with dolphins?
Yeah, see, Sid's more interested in having the cold weather. I get it. Brother, thank you so much for supporting the show, everything you do for us here, and for just being one of the family.
No problem, people.
I love this Christmas kind of spirit, isn't it great? And of course, I appreciate you didn't have the best of Christmases, Sid, but hopefully our little chat here today that can make up for it. And we have got so much.
I'll survive.
I'm sure you will.
This was freaking excellent. I won't swear on your TFR. This was freaking excellent.
And that there, ladies and gentlemen, that's the kind of guy that Sid is. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you for calling in. And we have got many adventures ahead of us. See you later on, Sid. Yeah, and whether it's Sid whether it's any of the other listeners out there. We've got so much to look forward to, not just here on the show, but on the network and in general, because I really am positive for 2020. And I really hope that we can convey that to all of you out there as well. I can never tell you how to think. I wouldn't dare try. But if I can try to bring alternative viewpoints, maybe more positive viewpoints to the table, then maybe, just maybe, you might be able to turn that frown upside down and smile and be positive going into the future. We've got calls from Vince and an unknown caller on the other side. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on your Kev Baker Show. Don't go anywhere. Yes, indeedy, folks. And I'll be back in just a moment. I need to get a quick drink. My mouth is really, really dry. And I will be back in 2 short moments, and then we'll get back into it. We've got Vince on the line. We've got, I think, Neil on the line. We don't need any more callers. These 2 gentlemen will take us nicely till the end of the show. And again, I want to thank Sid out there for an amazing call. Thank you for being really respectful of the network and keeping the language not as colourful as me and you are used to, Sid. And I'm talking about both of us, brother. You see how hard it is for me as well to dot my T's. I was going to say dot my T's and cross my I's. You get what I'm saying, right, folks? I'll be back in 2 short minutes. Don't go anywhere. Still more callers to go right here on your Kev Baker Show on TFRLive.com and YouTube. Can I just thank Lisa and Sid for calling in? First time I spoke to you, Lisa, and it was fantastic to hear your accent. Great to chat with you. Please call in again. And I want to get more into that story you were sharing with us. That is like deep woo. And Sid, my brother, he's probably sitting there now like somebody with social media Tourette's. He's probably just swearing for the sake of it. I love you, brother. I really do. I love all of you out there. I'm having a blast. I hope you are. We're getting ready to go back to the network. We've got Vince and another caller on the line. Don't go anywhere, folks. And remember, as Popeye says, you're the change. Blue Days, you're phoning in next time, I hope. I think you've got woo as well. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Kev Baker, for one more segment right here on your number one network, Truth Frequency Radio, www.tfrlive.com. May I send out many thanks and well wishes and all the best of luck for the year ahead to all of my fellow hosts on the network, and in particular Chris and Cherie Geo. Yes, I was watching Chris yesterday doing a update. I think it was yesterday, all the days blend into one, talking about Mandela effects. And Chris Geo, for anyone who hasn't checked out the Geo's show Beyond the Veil, please do so. I tell you, talk about taking things to another level. Chris and Cherie Geo, check them out on YouTube on Beyond the Veil. And I think Chris has got some new music dropping very, very soon. And hopefully he'll allow us to play it right here on the programme first. So then, getting back into it with the callers, let me connect the phone lines one more time. Yes, here we go. I'll do it first time this time. Watch this, right? Watch this, ready? Boom. I got it right. I did get it right. And hopefully, we're going to have Vincent and another caller on the line. They were there before I went to the break. Hopefully, they're still there now. I'm going to Vince, somebody who's called into the show before. And Vince, I want to wish you a very happy Christmas, sir, and all the best for 2020. And I really look forward to getting to know you a lot better. How you doing, Vince?
Not too bad, Kev. I wish you Merry Christmas and hope you had a good one and Happy New Year.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, I was thinking that we need to punch your numbers up on YouTube. How would you feel about some merchandise?
Oh, that is something I've thought about before. It is something I've thought about. We do the memberships on YouTube and things. You know, sometimes I probably don't aim high enough, or don't. I'm not very ambitious enough, if that makes sense, Vince. But I do think there's probably the potential for us to get some merch in 2020. I can definitely think of a good couple of slogans already, that could spread the word. And I'm keen in 2020, Vince, to get even bigger. We had a lot of big guests on last year. And towards the end of the year, we've kind of kept it light-hearted. We've been a bit kind of into the more paranormal, supernatural stuff. But I need to find that blend again in 2020 where we can mix the serious with the woo and at the same time keep all of this really good dynamic and atmosphere going as well.
Yeah, right now you're doing really well, I think. I just was wondering... it seems like some of the guests, like Richard Dolan, might be available for you. There are a lot of good people, even Jimmy Church and Clyde Lewis.
Yeah, Clyde.
You might consider.
Clyde. I've been on Clyde's show a number of times, and I'm really good friends with Ron Patton, and I always like to let people know that, Clyde goes out to hundreds of radio stations, as you obviously know, Vince, and he's becoming a household name. But what people don't appreciate about Clyde and his team is that they will take time out, and they want no thanks for it. They don't ask to get promoted, anything like that. But for somebody as small as me, they do everything they can to help me. I think that speaks volumes about Clyde and his team there. And I think it demonstrates what we should all be about. We should all be working together. And I would love to have Jimmy Church on the show. And as for Richard Dolan, for me, since we unfortunately lost Stanton Friedman, I think Richard Dolan is probably the world's number one, for me anyway, researcher when it comes to the secret space kind of topic.
Absolutely. He has a lot to offer. His knowledge of the UFO history and the like is pretty much unsurpassed, I think.
Now, you sent me an article.
You sent
me an article where um, I've not really dug too deep into it, but the Chinese and other militaries, they're chasing or they're investigating UAPs. And you were saying to me that kind of rubbishes the whole idea that the UAPs that the Pentagon are tracking are foreign in origin. Adding to the case that we are looking at something outside of this world. Am I right there, Vince?
I would say yes. The fact that the Russians and the Chinese have actually lost fighter pilots and planes chasing them, that's unbelievable.
That's huge.
And
Can you imagine?
And the fact that,
Can you imagine that happened to either the U.S. Air Force or our RAF over here? That would be a massive incident, but yet this has kind of gone really unspoken of, unheard of.
that's part of the problem. Maybe what you need to do is call Vladimir Alexandrovich Putin up and see what we can get from him.
He's an interesting character, Vince, isn't he? Because he was a player back in the day when it was the KGB. And then, of course, when he kind of rose to power, nobody even knew who he was. And I've looked into the history of Putin, and to say it's colorful and shady all at the same time would be an understatement. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The fact that he was KGB when it was KGB, and the fact that he moved over to the FSB, he basically runs Russia. He was prime minister for a while. He changed off with Medvedev.
Yeah,
I think his name is.
And he was like the most obvious puppet in the world. You can almost see the strings and Putin's hand above him working him while he was in the shadows. But let me put a question to you that came up earlier in the show. And I was having a laugh and a joke about how the media are saying that Germans, in a poll that was taken, they fear Donald Trump as the worst threat to world peace at the moment. Now, you, with your experience, your analytical eye, is there any one character that you think stands out amongst our current crop? Or are you like me? Are you more worried about the system as opposed to the players?
I would go with the system more than the players. People make fun of Donald Trump and saying that there's a deep state. I don't even think that's a question anymore. There's been a deep state for years. And typically, if you're a Democrat or Republican before Donald Trump, somebody was always pulling the strings for the president.
Yeah.
Very few presidents have stood alone. John F. Kennedy was another one, and that probably got him killed.
I must admit, Vince, sorry to interrupt you, but I must admit, when Trump was running, it was a horrible thing for me to say at the time, but I still stand by it. And I always used to say, if he is as genuine as he sounds, then unfortunately his presidency could go the same way as what we've seen with JFK. Now, they've done everything but a Dealey Plaza to him. They've character assassinated him for however long he's been in office now and for however long he stays there. But do you see him as a genuine opposition to, for lack of a better term, the deep state, the swamp, whatever you want to call it? Or is he just another player in the game, Vince?
No, I think he's a genuine threat to them.
Yep.
And it wouldn't surprise me that if he gets reelected in 2020, somebody doesn't try and take him out.
Yeah, because I think when you speak to when you get away from the mainstream and you actually talk to real Americans, I'm not saying it's overwhelming support for Trump, but it's such a different view of the guy than what you might get from just looking at the media. I mean, it would be easy to perceive Donald Trump as being the spawn of Satan and quite easily the biggest threat to world peace if you only listened to the mainstream. But I find he's actually quite popular with big portions of the US public. It's just we never get told about that, Vince.
Well, I live in Massachusetts, which is a one of those deeply blue states. We have all the most liberal politicians that you can imagine. And if you look at somebody like Elizabeth Warren, the only thing she's done for the state of Massachusetts and for the country as a whole is run for president. She went in looking to be she went in on the thing saying, "Oh, I'm going to fight for the people," and she did that when she was a district attorney here in Massachusetts. She went after the big players, trying to get money back for different programs for drugs and overcharging of drugs and the like. But as soon as she ran for president, she's not worth it. She's just not worth it.
Now, Vince.
And she'll never win.
Now, Vince, I hope you're not being racist. I mean, she is 1,024th Native American.
Yeah, she is. Isn't she? The funny part is that my grandparents emigrated from Poland, and I probably have more Indian in me than she does.
I probably do. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But, the liberals, the left,
yeah.
I mean, over here in the UK, they leaned so far left, they fell over. And in an election that they should really have won, unfortunately for them, but fortunate for common sense and reality, people are just fed up of this. Like, it's a loony left now. I'm all for liberal values for what they once were, Vince, but not what they've become now. And I don't know whether it's the left in America or the left over here. And you know me, sir, I don't go left or right, but I do find much amusement in the way politics has gone so far left, it's gone bonkers. But it's waking people up, right?
Look what's going to happen in 2020. There's no doubt in my mind that the Democratic Party is the Labour Party of the UK.
Yeah.
And they're going to lose their asses.
Exactly. And
they're going to get such a butt whipping.
So before I let you go, and we've got one more caller on the line. We might have a couple by now. But I know you're interested in the space topic. I'm definitely going to pursue that deeper. And Richard Dolan's a name I've got down here. And Vince, I could definitely try and make that happen with some of the people I know behind the scenes. And I'd love to get Richard on the show. But is there any other guests or is there any other topics that you really would like to see covered here?
Well, I hate to say it, but with the ATIP program and some of the new revelations that have come out saying that, oh, no, you totally misunderstood what this program was about, type thing. It's like the UAP and UFOs, or whatever you want to call them, that they've sucked all the energy out of that topic. Until something happens, maybe TCSA will actually come up with a report on metamaterials, and give the people something to talk about. It's almost like it's a dead subject.
Well, what do you think of Jimmy Church basically coming out and making such a public kind of announcement where he has distanced himself for any of the TTSA stuff? And I see why he's done that. I think he's absolutely justified in the opinions he gave. And also the Bob Lazar thing. I mean, what do you think of Jimmy's stance, taking such a public kind of standing on that? And then Bob Lazar, an interesting character, right?
I believe in Bob Lazar.
So do I. I believe a lot
That's
in what comes
yeah,
from there. Yeah, I'm with you, Vince.
that's that Bob Lazar thing is one of the worst character assassinations around, as far as I'm concerned.
Which,
And and he's really never tried to capitalize on it.
no.
He hasn't written books. He did one film recently, and I hate to say it, but the guy appears to be clean.
The film that he done recently,
But
and I think he felt forced to do that. And if I was Bob Lazar, I would have done it as well. Because over the years, that man has taken some amount of stick. And like you say, his character, it's been assassinated and resurrected and assassinated 10 times over. And yet he still sticks by his story. Now, just because he hasn't got any unobtainium 115 or whatever that element is to show, it doesn't mean that I'm ready to write him off quite as quickly as Jimmy Church did. However, when it comes to the TTSA, I am very skeptical about anything that comes from them. Not because of Tom DeLonge, but just because of the whole Pentagon. 1 minute it is a program, the next minute it's not a program. Luis Elizondo, he appears to have been nothing to do with alien technology. I don't know what to make of all of that anymore, and it feels like they're trying to take over the disclosure topic, Vince.
I think, truthfully, I think that TTSA, for all that Tom DeLonge wanted it to be, has been taken over by all the three-letter agencies, CIA, NSA, DIA, Tom DeLonge, I think he's being used.
I'm in
Hal
total,
Puthoff and the boys.
yeah, total agreement. They looked for the most palatable name that they could use, and Tom was somebody that was already quite vocal on this topic, and unfortunately for him, and I would make the same mistake. Let me make no bones about this. If I had people with their credentials coming to me, I could easily be that deer in the headlights, which I think Tom DeLonge is, Vince. That's where I stand with Tom. I think he's an innocent, kind of useful idiot.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you leave the CIA, you basically
you don't leave it.
If you're a covert employee, well, there are some people who say that,
yeah.
But some people, no. Take it from somebody who knows.
Okay.
If you leave the CIA, you sign an NDA. All right, non-disclosure agreement.
Okay.
And you lose your clearance. If the only way you keep your clearance is if you've never left them.
That's quite interesting.
You can't maintain a security clearance because if you're a civilian, somebody has to sponsor you. Some agency, some corporation, somebody has to support your clearance and hold that clearance for you. You can't, if you leave, your clearance is typically good or can be renewed in the event of a top secret security clearance with special access programs. If you have a full scope polygraph, full scope background investigation, which means they go through every single piece of your life. And they do this every 5 years. You have to go in and take a lie detector test and whatever to prove that you're still loyal. You can't maintain a clearance.
Oh, hang on. I just lost the call there, folks. Hang on. Where did that go? Hang on. I need to find where that call went. I just hung up. Wait a minute. I'll get it back. Hang on, folks. Ah, it's not. By the way, we haven't been cut off by any nefarious kind of means there, folks. Please don't think that. I'm going back to the caller right now. Give me 2 seconds to hook up the phone lines. 302. Ah, there we go. Right, hang on now. We should be back with the caller. Vince, are you there, brother? Vince, are you still there?
We're sorry. The participant capacity for this conference has been exceeded.
Oh, hang on.
Goodbye.
Hang on. What does that mean? Wait a minute. I know we've got lots of callers on the line, but wait a minute. Please tell me we can get that back. Folks, that was my fault. I pressed the wrong button. I think we've got it now. Hang on. I think we've got it. I think we're trying. We're almost there.
We're sorry. The participant capacity for this conference has
Okay,
been
now
exceeded. Goodbye.
hang on. Right, wait a minute. Vince, are you there? No, hang on. I'll try and get it back. Stick with me, folks. Stick with me. Don't go anywhere. Hang on. We'll try one more time, right? Oh, we were getting into some good stuff there. There we go.
We're sorry. The participant capacity for this conference has been exceeded.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Okay, well, I want Vince, if you could hang up, and then if Vince can hear me, hang up, and I'll try and reconnect really quickly. And I know everyone's finding this hilarious. I know. Dang, dude. Dang. Right. Hang on. I will get us back. Don't worry. I will get us back. There we go. There it is. I see it. I think this is it.
We're sorry. The participant capacity for this conference has been exceeded. Goodbye.
What? Right, hang on. There should be no problem now with me connecting to this. Apologies to everyone out there. I'm trying to reconnect the phone lines, but for some reason, right. Vincent's hung up now, so hopefully I can reconnect the calls.
We're sorry. The participant capacity for this conference has been exceeded. Goodbye.
Okay. Right. Hang on. Give me 2 seconds, folks. Give me 2 seconds. And I will reset everything. In fact, we're so close to the end now, there's no point me resetting everything. Dang. Now, we had another caller on the line there. I think it might have been Neil. Neil, you're on Discord. I think you're on Discord. Oh, come on now. Why did this all go wrong? I can't figure out what went wrong there. And it wasn't anything to do with what Vince was talking about, because now Vince is on the line again. So let me try one last time. Where is my Skype gone? Am I even on Skype anymore? Oh, come on. Now my Skype's gone missing. What on earth's name is happening here? Oh, it's a meltdown. Oh, come on. Right, there's Skype. Which Skype? Right, I was online there. Now we'll go back to Skype. We'll get there, folks. We will get there. Yes, Kev Baker Show live. And it's all going horribly wrong. Right. I'm not on the line. My Skype is telling me I'm already connected to the line. But I'm not. I'm really not. Oh, dear goodness. Look at this, say, Mr. Unflappable here. Right, let me get the network. I know what to do. Right, I'm back on TFR right now. Sorry for this, folks. I've been trying to reconnect the phone line. but I think I know what to do. And we're almost upon the end of the show right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, albeit on Boxing Day. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. I want to thank all of the callers. Neil, I'm so sorry I never got to your call today. I feel absolutely terrible about that. However, I'm going to try and figure out a workaround for that in the meantime. But listen, folks, I'll be back on Freaky Friday tomorrow with Joe, Scotty Lopez, and maybe I'll try and drag Popeye in for a Freaky Friday. I've had a couple of people asking that. And I'll be back tomorrow afternoon as well with a safe space. But until later, wherever you are, make it TFR. I'm sorry for the disjointed end to the show, but it all got a bit mad there. Wherever you are, make it TFR and then you touch that dial. Right. There we go. Right. Now listen, that was crazy, okay? Everyone in the chat room, it cut me off twice after 20 minutes. Dude, I don't know if that was my fault or your fault. Mammoth. Dang, dude. That's the most dang dude moment I've had in ages. I can't think of another time when dang dude really was more apt. But what I'm going to do is, Vince. Is Vince in the chat room? Because do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call Vince up. That's what I'm going to do. Now, I can't call you, Neil, because I don't have the ability to call UK numbers. I'm going to take a real chance here, folks. And I hope Vince doesn't hate me for it. But I just want a chance to say goodbye to Vince and to thank him. And then we'll get back about things. Give me 2 seconds, okay? There we go. Vince, you're in the chat room. Vince, it wasn't you, brother. It was me. And what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to try and phone Ryan Gable. Ryan tried to call into the show. And can everyone in the chat room hear me okay? There's no like feedback or anything, is there? Yeah, Mammoth, I knew you would like my dang dude. I'm going to try and phone Ryan. And then I'm going to try and phone Vince. I had to remember there. Vince, I got your number. I only want to phone you to say thank you for calling in and for the information. And just to give you a chance to finish what you were saying. And it wasn't anything nefarious, dude. It was me. Ryan called in. I didn't want to add him at that time. And when I hung up, it hung up everything. And then it all went horribly wrong. Okay? So I'll put the tunes on. I'll try and phone Ryan. We'll be right back. This is the cool bit about live streaming. It's crazy, right? Isn't that cool music? You love the tunes here. I've got Ryan. I'm talking to Ryan, not talking. We're trying to call Ryan live.
The person whom you're trying to reach
Ryan.
is currently unavailable.
It's okay, folks. It's okay. Big shout out to Ryan and his little boy. His boy was sleeping, but now he's awake. So what I'm going to do now is... oh, dang. Ouch. Ryan's little boy is called Fox. How cool is that? But he's got teething problems. Ouch. Oh, brother. Ouch. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go away for 30 seconds, and I'm going to try and connect with you, Vince. Yes, you. Hang on then, hang on now. I need to put in this phone number. We'll get some more music starting in a minute, don't worry. Oh. I'm sure Vince doesn't deserve such sinister music. He's probably gonna hate me forever for doing this. Oh, it's a risk. Here we go. It's a risk. It's a risk. Vince.
Hey, Kev.
Hey, brother. Vince, I hope you don't mind me calling you. I didn't give your number out on air, anything like that. But listen, I wanted you to know that was my mistake. Don't be thinking you said anything wrong, because unbeknown to the audience, listen, Vince probably isn't wrong for thinking maybe somebody might be listening, but that was my fault, brother. Ryan Gable, I tried to add him to the call. He's somebody else I work with. I messed it all up, and then for some reason, I couldn't connect the phones again, so don't think that was you. But I just wanted to say thank you for the information, and to see if there was anything else you had to say before I let you go, man. And thank you for being so understanding with that technical hiccup.
No, Kev. Everything's fine. We're good.
Good stuff, man. And yeah, so in the new year, I'm going to try and get Richard Dolan on, and we're going to try and get closer to some of the truth that might be out there about what's in our skies. That's the best way I can put it, Vince, without really, getting too much deeper into it.
Well, here's something that was just in the news here, Kev. Apparently, they have funded the new Space Force to the tune of, I think, $400 million, which is not a whole lot of money.
It's not a whole lot of money. It's not a lot of money when you factor into the grand scheme of things, is it?
No, not when the budget of the black budget is in the hundreds of billions of dollars, and the regular Pentagon budget, which is part of that black budget, is hundreds of billions of dollars. So, but President Trump just signed the authorization bill that funds the Space Command. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them.
Do you agree with me that we're seeing more information about giant asteroids and potential threats to the planet just as a pretext to justify money for that program? I don't know if that made sense to you. It probably didn't, but it feels to me like we're making a bigger deal about the asteroids, etc., and that in turn justifies asking, I mean, what else can they justify a Space Force with?
Well, they could justify it with the fact that China used a rocket a couple of years back to destroy a satellite. It was one of their satellites, mind you, but it was a ground-launched missile that they flew into space and knocked out a satellite.
Yeah.
So that would be one, I think.
I remember that. That was like it was like the killer satellite mission. I remember talking about that. And when I was in the military, I don't know if you know this or not, but I worked in the Royal Signals, and we were using satellites, military satellites, and we hear a lot about the commercial and the very public satellite launches. But there's a heck of a lot of sneaky beaky stuff up there, Vince, that the general public don't know about. And that in itself, like you say, could justify some protective force, right?
Oh, sure. Look at it this way here, Kev. We've used satellites since the 60s to do what they call to collect intelligence on using a thing called burst transmissions. You know, that's all up in the open now. They used to have a thing called the Defense Meteorological Satellite Program, DMSP, that also collected intel. Granted, it didn't have the resolution that they have today, but from a distance, it was pretty good at the time.
Absolutely. And I mean, for people out there, I mean, just think of the GPS satellite system, the disruption that could be caused to Western life if something like that was taken out. And I think when it comes to the Space Force and things like this, we've got China more active, we've got the Indian space program. Seems to me, Vince, but this is the next frontier. Maybe not just quite for humans yet, but definitely the military-industrial complex, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. One of the things that they're looking at is, you know, they're talking about space is not supposed to be space-based missiles or systems in outer space. Just for the fact that would negate a UN agreement between Russia, China, and the USA. But the reality is we don't know what's up there.
Exactly.
Don't have a clue.
No, we don't have a Scooby-Doo. Now, Vince, let me thank you again for calling into the show. And like I've been saying to the audience, and I'll say to you now, I hope that over time we can speak more. Maybe I can get you on for an hour one show one night. We can chill out. We can shoot some stories back and forth. Not getting too deep into who you are or what you've done, but just as much as you want to share with the audience. I would love to do that sometime with you, sir.
I would be honored, Kevin.
Thank you so much. And you gave a brilliant...
And
on you go.
And you know what you need to do, though, seriously, about the merch thing, is put it out to the audience and say, hey, look, you know, you might have some really talented people out there who could come up with a design for a Kev Baker T-shirt or a coffee mug or, you know, some kind of mug club type thing. You know?
No, you're right. And you know, Vince,
it's worth expanding your channel.
I'm going to show something on the camera right now. Maybe I haven't shown enough of these, but one of our listeners at one point, with a 3D printer at home, they made a pile of KBS little key rings. They're just so simple. And I mean, that kind of thing alone, I get where you're coming from. I think we do have to pursue that. And on that note, if there's anyone out there who is artistic or has something that way to offer, just a couple of slogans, a couple of things. We don't want much. We just want something where maybe you can show that you're a listener to KBS. And Vince, again, I'm going to let you go now. I'm going to wrap things up. But thank you so much, brother. And thank you for everything you've done, everything you bring to the table here on KBS, and everything that we do in the future, okay?
Thank you very much, Kev.
Thank you.
You take care. Have a good night.
And you, sir. And you. Folks, I have had a blast tonight. Neil, if you're still in the chat room, I hope you haven't fallen out with me. What I'm going to do on Monday, let me check the calendar before I go anywhere, before I say this. I want to make sure I'm not making any false promises. Let me check this just real quickly, folks. And isn't Vince an absolute gentleman? He's just, I really, really like Vince. I really do. And he's got a lot to share with us, okay? A lot to share with us. Okay, right, it's not happening on Monday because on Monday... on Monday, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be joined by... It almost deserves more of a build-up than I can give it. Nano Girl is going to be here on Monday. We're going to do our annual breakdown of the Economist cover for 2019/2020. It's what me and Nano do every year. A lot of people who never listen to the Kev Baker Show 364 days of the year, they come for our decoding of the Rothschild. Yes, the Rothschild Economist cover. And Nano Girl, she does it like no other. Don't check out any other decodings of the cover before you come here on Monday on TFR Live and YouTube Live. I was going to say .com, but YouTubelive.com isn't the website. Listen, it's getting that time of night, folks. I'm about ready to go and beat my mum at Scrabble. I want to thank Vince. I want to thank Lisa. I want to thank Sid as well. 2020, I'm getting a taste for the old disclosure, secret space topics. I'll be hitting Ron Patton up to see just who he can put us in touch with for 2020 and beyond. And on that note, a big shout out to everyone over at Ground Zero Media. Clyde Lewis, if you haven't checked him out, please do so. Armand, our good brother Armand, he's been kind of AWOL in the chat recently, but he has been in touch with me. He's okay. And yeah, please check out Clyde Lewis. Armand did. He's been listening to him ever since. He loves it. So until next time, folks, I'm going to love you. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to shove on some cool tunes. But I want to thank all of you again. I really do. Even if you're just a casual listener that really doesn't give two hoots about the show, you're still as equally welcome and loved here as all of the members who go that extra yard to support yours truly and everything we're trying to do here. And I get it. I get it. Sometimes it feels like this show can be almost a bit of a piss take. Almost a bit of a laugh. But when you know where I came from originally, my roots, what got me started, why I do all of this, you will know that there's that serious side to me as well. And it's finding that blend of the humor, the laughs, the jokes, the fun shows with the really serious stuff that's going on in the world as well. And then being able to add a positive slant to it all. I will promise you this much. Going into 2020, I promise to do more than ever. Keep all of this going just the way it is, and then some. And by then some, I mean more guests. I mean more content. And I mean more information from all of you. Because I would love this show to go to the very next level. And with everything going on at YouTube and the memberships and everything else I can and can't tell you about right now, we are going to that next level. But we'll never lose that sense of all of us being one. You at the very core of it. You have been here through thick and thin, and that will never be lost on me. Never. And I remember all the names, I remember all the channels, I remember all the calls. And I remember all of you. And together, not me, not I, but all of us, we're going to make 2020 an absolutely fantastic year. So on that note, let me just say those final words. Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo. Booyah! That's okay, bruise me not. I love you too. I love all of you. Marty has got a moth man. We have also got a chicken. Now, Roxy says, see that you have been streaming for 2 hours, and I'm just now only seeing the show. I am a member. You should send me an email. Roxy, every night my show's on at 10 p.m. in the UK, 5 p.m. on the East Coast, 2 p.m. on the West Coast. I honestly thought when I put it on YouTube, they send out the notifications. I know some people don't get them. I also put it out on Facebook, put it out on Twitter, and I'm so sorry, Roxy. I will try and get message to you. If you leave me your email in here, I can't promise other people won't abuse it, but I can maybe hide the message as soon as you post it, and I'll try and remember to post it out to you, because I try to keep all of you as informed as I can. Maybe what I'll do for the members is every day, and it's not hard for me to do, I'll just put an actual post, a community post out for the members only, and hopefully, Roxy, hopefully that then will kick in the email notification. It's all I can think to do, and I can only apologize, Roxy, for you not getting that notification. Please, 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 please understand it's definitely nothing personal, and I'll try as much as I can to let all of you know when we're going to be live. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon in the UK around 5 p.m, 6 p.m. in the UK. That's around midday, 1 o'clock on the East Coast. That's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. Again, I really apologize if it's not getting out to everyone, but I'll try and improve that situation. So I will play that tune again, and I'll let you get back to chill out, keep it real, and keep it KBS. Mike Ray, I have a confession. This is my first chat room, Kev, and you owls. It's cool. Mike, you're more than welcome, brother. First time, 100th time, all equal here, my friend. Marty, I never get my favorite channel's notifications either. It's horrendous, right? It really is. It's something I'll mention the next time I speak to the handler. But until then, keep it real, keep it KBS. Lisa, we could not have a KBS confessionals show. Dang. A, I'd get killed by shoes, and B, if I didn't, I'd get kicked out. And C, nobody wants to know what the Kev Baker show's been up to. Mike Ray, Big AJ, I don't want to say his name, it'll trigger the algos. I love AJ as well, brother. You're in good company, man.